Bamele. Hello.
Oh, Bamele. I've been saying it wrong. Sorry. Hi there, Otome fans and fellow main characters. It's Lai Quen. Today I'm bringing you a new game, Lake of Voices. It's by GB Patch Games. You might recognise them as the people who make XOXO Droplets. It's currently being funded on Kickstarter. Good news, it's already reached its funding goal and the first stretch goal. There will be a link down to the Kickstarter in the description below. I'm going to have a look through my first playthrough, I'm completely blind at this point, of this game, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts about it. So let's hit start and away we go. Choices screen. Ooh, you'll need to make various decisions. Certain choices are timed. In some cases, not reacting will lead to Kicker's death. In other situations, choosing not to act is perfectly acceptable. Some choices aren't timed. These options only determine whether Kicker has any special affection for another character or not. Coming closer to someone can add and or remove future options. It will also impact the way the story goes. Showing affection can affect your relationship with different characters. Interesting. Not had a game with time choices before. Oh, this art style is stunning. My grip on my lantern tightens as the fog around us thickens. While the forest in this area are relatively safe compared to Sinlos, I can't help but feel my hair stand on end the further we get. I'm not sure if there's any voices in this one. As I said, it's just the demo. My free hands finger the hilt of my sword, something akin to a nervous reflex. Ooh, Bamel. Have you seen it before? Bamel breaks the silence, either sensing my unease or surging his own. I hope it's the latter. I haven't. Oh, she's so pretty. I have had no reason to go near this cursed lake until now. What of you? Bamel scratches his chin casually, as though I asked what his favourite food is. I travelled the long way round it once before. Not so pleasant. Something about it just frays your nerves, although even being near it is enough. So, I'm not the only one who feels it. A sense of relief hits me, but not enough to undo the buzzing of anxiety. The lake, Sinlos. Most try their best to avoid it with all their lives. The hundreds who die attempting to cross its unearthly black water, dragged to death by the creatures lurking within, aren't a secret. Ooh. No wonder you were assigned to this mission. There are a few who've had first-hand experience with the place, even if from a distance. He'll probably keep being picked wherever they need someone to cross, for however long he is with us. Bamel shrugs, bringing my attention back to the dark path before us. At least we're taking the bridge this time. It'll only take 2 days instead of double that, and the sooner this place is behind us, the better. It would be preferable not to risk it, but time is of the essence. We don't really have a choice. One of our allied villages is being harassed by brigadiers, a band of ruffians. We don't have many guards to send as an assist, only Bamel and myself. The least we can do is arrive before we are too late to be of any use. These kinds of squabbles happen often, but have to be put down lest they turn into a blood grudge or all-out war. The last we heard, neither option was that far off. That's a nice little smile. I can see why they chose you to come out here. I glanced at Bamel, an eyebrow raised, a slight smile playing across his lips. You're always so calm and so serious. Nothing can get to you. You're the best choice they had. A smile now tugs at my own lips. I would like to thank him, but that wouldn't be so calm and serious as he just described. And if that's how he sees me, I'd like to keep it that way. My lack of reaction only makes his smile grow, and he chuckles a bit before refocusing on the path. I do the same. It wouldn't be right to let my guard down in a place like this. Bamel appears to feel differently, however. You know, the town on the other side of this lake, though? It's not so similar to ours. If all goes well, perhaps we'll have enough time to enjoy the new area. For the most part, I ignore him, nodding when applicable. Bamel is a talkative sort, and if chatting helps keep his worries down and his sword hand ready, I have no complaints. Ooh. After a time, the thick fog surrounding us begins to clear. A slick wooden dock comes into view, and with it the sounds of water gently lapping against its sides. Bamel shifts beside me, stretching his lantern arm as far as it will go. He seems tense.
Someone's already here.
Oh, there is some voice acting. Exciting. A young woman stands by the dock, eyeing us warily. Does she intend to cross tonight? Evidently she has the same question. As we step up next to her, it's clear she isn't simply passing by. She's waiting. The stranger nods curtly to us.
Margaret. Kika the Steadfast.
Ooh.
Bamele. Hello.
Oh, Bamele. I've been saying it wrong, sorry. There is a stuffy silence. Margaret turns to gaze out across the lake, expression unclear. With not much to say, Bamele and I do the same. From here, the black surface of the lake looks disarmingly calm. Wind rushes across its surface, a sound like whispering. Though perhaps it actually is whispering. I concentrate, trying to place the difference, searching for breaks and rhythm. After a few seconds, I feel foolish. It doesn't matter what the noise is. Whether I hear them or not, we're not alone. The Nixie are out there. A feeling that I can't quite shake tells me that they've already noticed the little group of people on their shores. It feels hostile. My stomach sinks as I instead address Bamele. Where is the guide? Unless he is on the centre island, or on the complete other side, your guess is as good as mine. It's pitch dark out there. Panic rises inside me. Panic I try hard to quell. We can't cross without him, and we need to get going, soon. You can't cross with him, either. The woman behind us, Margaret, cuts in with something like a snort. What? I know the guide will be here tonight. I have already made arrangements with him to cross. Bamele and I share a look. The woman seems haughty and willing to put up a fuss. I have his word he will take me today. It would be wiser for the two of you to begin the trip around, if you're really in such a hurry. Or you can make camp here and wait for him to take the trip back, if you prefer. I don't need to turn my attention to Bamele to know he's riled up. I step in before he can say something rash. Even if that is so, my companion and I must begin the trip tonight. Margaret is unimpressed and opens her mouth to argue further. We'll wait for the guide to arrive before coming to a conclusion about any of this. She clamps her mouth shut and then lets out a sigh. You can do as you like. With the matter tentatively settled, Bamele moves forward. His finger begins to tap loudly against the top of his hilt. He shifts from one foot to another, then groans. What's that bastard even up to? Oh my gosh, language. I almost visibly start, but manage to restrain myself. He probably doesn't know any better, I'm sure of that. It's not worth mentioning. With a mouth like that, you shouldn't even have the right to ask the guide to take you across. How ludicrous. He's faced far worse than a bit of foul language. Do you know anything that's happened with this lake? I know enough. Margaret is clearly not convinced, but she shrugs and makes a show of turning her back to him. The guide's father is Garvin, the exemplar. Garvin never accepted the guide as his son, all the way up until he died in this lake. Your statement could be seen as tasteless, Bemele. Oh. Bemele rubs the back of his neck, his face regretful. My apologies to the guide. I didn't mean it that way. I never knew about his... well, that. A smile spreads across my face, one I quickly wipe away. He really did just misspeak. The silence slowly stretches between the three of us, growing more awkward with each passing second. Margaret seems irritated and Bemele abashed. Oh, so you're quite informed, Margaret? I'm sure you are forgiven, Bemele. Say nothing. Let's go with you're quite informed, Margaret. It's been years since the time of Garvin, the exemplar, and not many talk about it anymore. It's impressive you knew. Margaret smiles, lifting her chin into the air. The over-exaggerated action is somehow pleasant rather than belittling. She's so much happier than I had anticipated. Yes, I do like to stay informed. And you knew too. Good. This lake shouldn't be allowed to swallow even history itself. My town, the one where I was born at least, was also Garvin's hometown. I was very young when he passed. The entire village went into mourning. People broke down crying in the streets. I'll never forget it. He meant so much to everyone who knew him. Ah, I have no such connections. I merely read about it. She pauses, seeming to scan the air in front of her for something to say. I'm sorry for your loss. It's all right, thank you. My town may have taken pride in Garvin the exemplar and what he achieved, but we weren't the ones who lost the most. That would be his family. We remain locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. Eventually, a small light appears on the bridge ahead, gently swaying through the foggy air. It gets closer and closer, until it becomes apparent it's a figure carrying a lantern. That must be the guide, although I can't shake the ghostly aura it gives off. The figure steps onto the shore, but we wait for him to approach us instead of going to meet him. None of us are sure how close to the waters we can get before it is no longer safe. He stops in front of us and simply stares.
Are you the guide of Sinlos?
The man nods. He has a sharp face and wary eyes.
Well, that's grand. We would like an escort across the lake.
Bemele motions to the two of us, and Margaret approaches, a strained smile on her face.
Hello, it's good to see you again. I'm ready to cross, as we've agreed upon.
The guide turns to face her as well, face remaining unchanged. It must not be a lie. He would have had to say something otherwise. She really does have a preference to travel with him. That's a problem.
Is there a way we can all begin the trip tonight?
Yes, I will allow all three of you to go. But with that many, at least one will die before we reach the other side.
I furrow my brow. It's a disturbing addendum, and one offered with little emotion attached. Bemele glares back, asking what we're supposed to do in such circumstances.
You should go around.
That tells us. The sentence hangs in the air, the second half unspoken. If you want to live. This is much
We don't have time for that. There are people counting on us for protection. Why does she need to go?
Now, I didn't realise this was a horror game when I started playing it. It's really spooky. He jerks a finger at Margaret, whose face contorts with anger. I'm not saying, by the way, that spooky is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing.
I don't need to explain myself to you. My journey has already been put off once, and I was promised I could go today. I will be going under any circumstances.
She meets Bemele's eyes with a gaze of steel. He starts to speak and she cuts in.
An extra day or two shouldn't be that much of a problem for you. Whoever you're meeting can surely wait such a tiny amount longer. Patience is a virtue, after all.
The night is only so long, and if we're still on the bridges when the sun comes up, we'll all die as they sink back below the surface. If you don't decide soon, no one will be going.
The guide is dispassionate, stoic. I would almost feel something's wrong with him if I didn't share the trait myself. Bemele pulls me to one side, jaw clenched tight. That woman isn't armed. His voice is low. He darts a glance at Margaret. We can easily get her to back off if we just make this into an actual fight. After all, we have to go tonight, yes? If one of us is to die, it'll be her. Would staying be worse fate than her death? I stare at the dock, refusing to meet Bemele's eyes, and try to keep my voice as level as possible. We don't know her situation. This isn't a decision we can make for her. What? Bemele leans in closer, apparently having missed what I said. I remove the sympathy for her in my response when I speak again. The guide won't accept something like that, I assume. His face is grim. Then what else do you have in mind? First of all, you and I cannot split up. Either we both stay or we both go. Right, that's not a question. I cross my arms, a hand on my chin. I have full confidence in my abilities and in Bemele's, but there's no reason not to believe the guide knows exactly what he's talking about. If we go, he might not be able to give the group the attention we deserve. That would mean we truly would be putting Margaret's life at risk on top of our own. So, oh, there's a timer. Believe we should go, say nothing. Say nothing. The guide approaches Bemele and me before I have time to sort out my thoughts. You will stay. What? You would have already decided to come if you'd had the proper mindset for a journey such as this. You two will stay. But you don't understand. The guide raises a hand to me, eyes cold. My words die in my throat. If he decides we aren't fit to cross, how could we persuade him otherwise? This is bullshit. We are more than equipped to make this journey, and we know more of what it means to be in danger than most will know in all their life. You two will stay. Bemele's muscles tense, and I put a hand on his arm. He trembles slightly beneath my fingers, his hands curling themselves into fists, but he doesn't say another word. The guide turns around and heads onto the bridge. Margaret uncomfortably looks from the guide to us. Goodbye. Then she steps onto the bridge after him. Bemele sighs, the anger releasing him as they disappear into the fog. Farewell. Be safe. We made it past Sinlos by going the long way round. By the time we reached the other side, the Brigadiers had ravaged half the village. We weren't as effective as we'd hoped to be in beating them back, but no one criticised us for the path we took. Rumour has it 2 people were lost the night we would have journeyed across Sinlos. The woman, Margaret, is gone. Who was the other? I will never even know. At this point, there is nothing to be done. Sinlos is behind us. I would like to remain that way. Oh, that was a short one. The end. So presumably if I'd made a different decision, I would have had a different response. So next time round, we will try something new, but I will stop it here for now. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to click on the link in the description to go and visit the Kickstarter and donate. I've already donated as well, and I'm looking forward to being able to play the full game. And have a look down below as well. There'll be another link in the description. That will be my Kickstarter. Not my Kickstarter. Have a look down below. There's another link there that is my GoFundMe. If you haven't heard about this, I did it in one of my vlogs. I'm trying to raise some funds to go towards a new computer. I doubt I'll hit my target, but if you've got a few pennies to spare and you're willing to donate them to me, I would very much appreciate that. So hit my link, go and look at my GoFundMe, and if you're willing to donate, that'd be wonderful. Thank you very much, and bye for now.